Hey everybody, you're on day 5 of this run. Okay, I think the echo's gone. Alright, we're on day 5 of this run. We're, what, like halfway through Yugi? Not quite. We did all of Kaiba. We have pretty much all the units we're planning on using. The big thing I like to do is pick units and use those units a lot and everybody else not a lot. And that makes the game a lot more replayable to me, rather than just using whatever units we want. Because then you just kind of use some units for a little bit, switch them out, and end up just using like the good units, but you use the bad units until you get there, and you use like half the units or something. Some point or not, but this way we like really focus on a few units. You get to see what they can do. We try to make like some synergies and stuff, but they're not going to be the optimal synergies. Oh, we don't have our guys at the bottom there. Yeah, fix that. There you go. That shows which units we're using for the most part. We're using 12 and that shows 9, so there's, or something like that. So there's a couple that don't show up, but it's a good enough idea. And you can see the other ones. I don't really want to edit that because I use that for Fire Emblem. But I guess I could, considering we're playing this game for like a week or something. Anywho, here's our teams. We got... This team doesn't really have much for synergy, but I really wanted to use Lord of D, and I couldn't think of any special synergy for him, surprisingly. He has tier 5 magic, so you can use Ryumi and Regiki, and Final Flame, I guess, if you want. But Ryumi's just really good. Unfortunately, he seems kind of slow, so he doesn't go fast enough to paralyze everybody before they go. So it's a little less good than one would hope, but still fine. Magician of Faith, she's just a good unit that's fun. There's a few units in Kaiba that I just really like, and I don't do Kaiba runs very often, so usually end up using most of the Yugi units, because if you do Kaiba units, then you kind of just get to use them for like, from when you get them till the end of Kaiba campaign, and then Joey campaign, and then you're done. But if you do Kaiba first, then you get to use them for the whole Yugi campaign. So I'm trying to use like mostly Kaiba units. And then we have Big Box, so both of these fall into like, there's no real synergy, but they're fun units. Big Box is a little too good. I try not to use like super busted units, but Big Box is definitely on the line there. We're using him though because we like him a lot. Right, and then we're trying a water team. So the key with this is Navy means if they're swimming type units, if his whole team is swimming type units, he's supposed to move faster in the overworld. Supposedly, I think. So at the top left here where there's a big S, you can see that they're swimming type units. Unfortunately, the swimming type unit pool kind of sucks. So these are the ones that seem to be the best. And I think the reason to do Kaiba first is you get these two units, which I kind of want to use. I think there's probably a different swimming dragon that's better than this one, but he's cooler. And I think this is probably the best carry. And then the third slot was kind of tough, but we threw in this guy because he blinds at high levels, so this team will be a little better once he gets that. Yeah, we're going to try to turn them blue. Oh, wow. Wow! They paired real quick. They're the same color now. Oh, he has Swift finally. Yeah, let's go. Just write that down. By 58, he has Swift. Sorry, I got my spreadsheet that I'm doing as I play this game, and it's getting pretty sick. There's not a lot of like docs on this game that I can find out there. I'm basically making my own, and I am very happy with it. Instead of saying it has by level 70, we can say it has by level 58. Update our notes there, which is nice. If it gets it before 59, that's a big deal. Because the, so it takes 15,000 XP to get to level 58. I'm pretty sure it's just the same for every unit. I don't think, like in Pokemon, certain units need more or less XP, but I think in this game it's just the same. To get to level 60 from level 59, you have to go to 20 instead of 15. Just like, from 59 to 60 is like a fourth of the total XP. It's like crazy, the gap there. So if he learns it at 59, he'll have it for so long compared to learning it at 60. Really funny. But supposedly, Swift here can makes them faster, and it doesn't really specify if that's like the hidden in combat movement speed thing. There's like speed in combat that seems to determine like when in turn order you go, kind of roughly a little bit. This game is very like, it's hard to find real like actual answers on things, and that is not very explained. But I don't know if this affects the in combat movement speed that I don't even know for certain exists, but I'm pretty sure it exists, or the overworld move speed. But I think it guarantee affects the overworld move speed, but I could be wrong. So him in the center, he's supposed to move faster, and then Navy buffs his speed, so he should be pretty fast. I can't think of any water guy that would be faster than him. I think there's a few other that get Swift, but he seems like he'd be the fastest one anyway. But yeah, there's the water team. That one's unfortunately just not very good. The stats on these units aren't very good, and they have no like special really. It's really rare that Water Adept ever plays a part, so they basically don't really have any abilities either. Eventually he'll get super stamina, which makes him a little tankier, but honestly not enough for that to be a big deal. If he got super stamina at like level 30, then it'd be a big deal for the other game, but later on it just doesn't really matter. If you heal 100 every round, you're gonna take way more damage than that, and if you're only taking that much, it's not a big deal. And then the offensive guys are beast type, which do have a power-up weapon, but it doesn't give them any special bonuses. Okay. Then we go down to here, we have we're doing spirits. We're doing this because I like wanted to use Moisture Creature. I can't decide if he's like a really good unit or a really bad unit. So this run has helped me with that. He seems to have a really, really high priority in combat. So he moves like really, really fast. So he goes like first really often, which is really good with magic because then he can paralyze the whole enemy team. And then a lot of the time they just skip all their turns. The main problem with him though is his stars are like, pick the lowest unit in the game star-wise, which is a really, really bad thing to have. Stars are how many times you get to do an action for the whole combat. His is the worst tier like of unit with stars, and then you also subtract 1 star from that. So he's level 52 and he has 2 stars, which is like, man, a lot of units will have 2 stars at level 1, and then early game you'll be like, oh, this unit is 3 stars at level 1, I'm going to use him. He's, you know, one of the better units that way. This guy at level 50 having 2 stars is just horrendous. I think he gets 3 stars by max level, which is no bueno. But we're putting him on who has really good action points as a marshal, so that might help a little bit, and their colors are pretty matched, so he might get a star that way one of these days. And then the other reason I wanted to do this team is because Queen of the Autumn Leaves. I just like this unit. She confuses on hit. She's spirit type, so Silver Bow and Arrow makes it so she can't miss. And then she gets like status guard or something, which is pretty cool. And I couldn't figure out who to do as the third unit here. You really want it to be a spirit, so you can do Power of Nature, which makes all spirits on the battlefield, including opponents, so you gotta be really careful with that, get a star and some damage. So when they use that, they use a star and then they get a star for the getting a star part, and then they give your other allies a star. So you can generate like a ridiculous amount of actions and damage through that, but then you're a little limited in how many uses of that consumable you have. And I'm also limited in how many Ryomis I have. So this team does not want to fight more than 5 opponents per stage, but usually like the stage with more enemies will have like 9 enemies. So if I have 4 teams, each team will fight like 2 or 3. Generally speaking, they won't fight more than that, so like 5 is plenty, but 3 is a little pushing it. Sometimes you want them to fight 4. And then the last unit, the only requirement really is they have to be a spirit. And the other spirit you get in Kaiba early is Dark Plant, so we've been kind of using him as a placeholder. What I wish I would have thought of, which I just don't know why I didn't, is this unit. I just never used this unit, so it would have been cool to use this unit and see what's up. You get them on a Shizu, and Shizu's 2 other units are awesome, because you get her, who's just stupidly busted. So I don't want to use her because she's just too good. I'm trying to avoid using the really busted units, like Insect Queen, or Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, I mean. Okay, so I wanted to eliminate that. I forgot this unit existed. So then the only other option in Kaiba was nothing. Those were the only options in Kaiba. And then we were gonna use like Giant Soldier Stone and Yugi, but like, I don't know. I'll use this unit when I do Yugi runs fairly often, so I don't really want to mess with that. And then we just got these three from Taya, but I really don't like those units, and I'll probably use them in Yugi runs. So then we have these three we got in Yugi as well. She kind of goes with Water Team. I almost used her on Water Team. But honestly, like, if I do a Spirit Team in Yugi, I'm going to use all these units anyway. So it kind of just makes sense to use the plant, and then if I get annoyed with him enough, because he's a really bad unit, if I get annoyed with him enough, we'll just, we'll switch him out for a Spirit unit in Joey, because we're getting close enough that I think we can just do that. Any unit that's Spirit type has some value, just in that this team really wants to have 3 spirits. Any team that has 2 spirits, you want to have a third one so you can Power of Nature it up. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with Meister Creature. He's been pretty good. Good enough to carry Dark Plant and not even feel bad about it. Look at his health. 1,000 health, 2,000, 2,000. So if the enemy goes first and they all 3 attack Dark Plant, he might just die. And I didn't bring Monster Reborn, so... Luckily, Meister Creature's really fast and paralyzes, so... Plus, one fun thing about Dark Plant is he poisons on hit, so Poison plus Paralyze is a good combo. And then Confusion will help take care of their items. We also did buy some Tier 1 magic. So these are the 2 options you have, because Plant has level 1 magic. So he could inflict minor damage and lower the action points of one enemy. Okay. 3 uses. Or he could paralyze one enemy for an entire star. So not amazing. Tier 2 magic actually works pretty well with the high tier, because you can have your high tier magic paralyze everybody, and then you can have your low tier magic eye poison everybody, which is what we did with the Time Wizard Baby Dragon Dragon Piper team last run. We were trying really hard to make a 1,000 Dragon team work, and it actually wasn't too awful. Considering it had 3 like bottom tier units on it, I was pretty happy with how that worked. And then you can Hematama if you do no damage, but not great. The Gift of the Mystical Elf is basically a red medicine on your whole team, but you can't use it out of combat, so I've actually found it worse than red medicine. Which is why, like, this guy, who can actually use it, we still have red medicine on. And then our final team is just Field Adept. Basically, this stemmed from, I really wanted to use Dark Rabbit, because he's a cool unit. So then I looked at his stuff, and he had Field Adept, so I tried to make a Field Adept team with him. So when we're fighting with this team, we want to just stand in a field and have enemies run into us, which usually enemies charge at your main base, so you can just find a spot in between your main base and theirs. But there's a field and you can stand in it, and then all your units get an extra star and 500 attack, which early game's a big deal, late game becomes less of a deal. I like Castle Adept. But the problem is, like, the only Adept that's really worth playing around that I found is Castle, because almost every fight is in a castle unless you, like, specifically try to make it not in a castle. In which case, like, maybe half the fights you can do that with. But like Forest and Wasteland and all those other water, all those other Adepts, it's just kind of too hard to set up fights in those specific areas, but fields are pretty common. It needs to be a land type that's between their enemy base and your enemy base that you can just wait in for the enemies to come into, and field's kind of the only reliable one to do that with. But Castle's just so much better. I'll still do field teams pretty often because I'm looking for ways to have like synergy on team. I could do like thematically, visually, like how the team looks. Like I could make a team with like 3 dinosaurs. Or like 3 bugs or something, but since your marshals change out so much, that feels weird. Because it would be cool to do like a 3-bug Weevil team, but then that only works for like Kaiva's campaign, and then the other 2 you're just running like bugs on Taya for some reason. So it's kind of weird. Anywho, those are the 4 teams we got going on here for this run. That's basically what I do, is like 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams of 3. Come up with like some sort of synergy plan thing. Usually I take almost all the units from the first campaign we do, and then I'll add like a couple units from Yugi or from the other campaign, and then maybe 1 or 2 from Joey if I want to like... I definitely need to have a like replacement unit in mind because Joey's so far away. But it's worth using a unit from the second campaign if they have enough synergy with the unit from the first campaign, which last run we did like a lot of fusions, so that happened a lot. Because you'll get like 1 fusion component in the first campaign and 1 in the second pretty often. But this campaign, there's not as much of that. We just basically did that with water, set up our navy thing. Right, this fight you have to not beat early, otherwise Dark Magician Girl doesn't come and join your team, I think. I don't know if you actually do fight Scott here. I feel like he just runs away. Okay, so we want Rabby to go stand in the field. And we want Water to fight people who are coming at us. Alright, so now we did what we talked about with Field Adept here. So he should fight here. We got Stan5 in the chat 10 minutes ago. I finally turned to my chat page. The old octopus. Yeah, this game really only is good for nostalgia. So if you didn't play this game, you'll probably not enjoy watching it. And even if you did play this game, it's not the best watcher, but I'm playing it for nostalgia, and I think that's important to do what I want to do. Not just to play what I think will be most fun to watch, because we'll just burn out that way. Alright. So Parrot Dragon has pretty good stats. As you can see, Kaiser Dragon has really bad stars, which is a problem. None of them have like crazy abilities or anything, so we just gotta pick them out. I think the play is to go for Curse of Dragon quick, and then kill Parrot Dragon. Kaiser will probably get all of his stars off. Kind of the best thing you can do in combat is try to make your enemy not get to use as many stars as possible. So if you kill a unit before it uses all its stars, then it won't get to use those stars for that combat. Generally at this point in the game, you have enough damage to kill all three of the enemy units, so you don't have to worry about not being able to kill stuff most fights. It's just a matter of like focusing down one unit so they don't get to use all their stars. Since we missed, a little awkward. So we could try to kill Kaiser Dragon before he uses 2 stars. We might deny him like 1 star. But I think just go for the Parrot. We'll deny him probably like 2 or 3 stars. We denied Curse of Dragon 3, which is nice. Just like limiting the damage we take is a big deal. When how it goes with like itemizing your team is like your first priority is to have someone with tier 3 or higher magic, because then they can have a paralyze all effect. That's like the best. And then you just put like healing items on them probably. If you don't have that, you just have a unit that is dedicated to having healing items, and usually the best to do that is like a dragon, because there's no damage boost items for dragons, so you're not like wasting a carry. And then you probably want 2 guys who just do a bunch of damage, but sometimes you can do other things. But usually like the generic team is just like 2 guys with damage items, 1 guy with healing items. So Rabbit and Gruzies have damage items, and Arubi has healing items, which is pretty generic, but there's nothing too special we can do with these Field Adept units. Gruzies finally hit level 60, and he got a star. Getting up to 4 stars is a pretty big deal, because now he'll have like 5 or 6 for fights, which is a lot better. Okay, where is my water team? Go there. Yugi can go there. Who hasn't gotten to do anything? You get to go. Okay. Now, is this in the forest? This might be in the forest. You don't want to fight this guy in the castle, because he actually has Castle Adept. And it is in the forest, which is not great. This team does have 2 Forest Adept units, I think. So it's just Arabi that's missing Field Adept here, which is kind of neat. You could probably do a full team of Field and Forest Adepts, but we just kind of wanted to use Arabi for healing items because he's kind of a cool unit. Look at the color on those orbs, that's perfect. So all the units will start with a certain color, and all the marshals will start with a certain color, and that's the same every game. And then as you use units on a marshal, their colors will start to blend together. So eventually they usually become an ugly color, unless you plan things out really well. Yeah, these 2 both had Castle Adept, so they don't get it. Usually you'll fight them in a castle, so they'll have an extra star and a bunch of damage, which is kind of important. So they have red medicines, which means we're probably not going to be able to deny them as many stars as we'd like to, unfortunately. So the problem is, if I damage anybody, Slot Machine can use 1 star to heal them to full, and it takes me like a lot of hits to get them down. So You can like paralyze or confuse the guy with the heals, and then you can break through, or you can wait till they're out of stars, or you can just try to plow through. If enemies have low HP, plowing through is fine, but these guys all have like 2k, so like plowing through is pretty tough. Now he just went, so on average, each of our guys should probably get to go once before he goes again, which means we might be able to just do 1400 and kill him, now that we hurt him a little bit. We're gonna try it, because I'm bored, or because I'm lazy, I guess. We could just wait out all those stars, but then everybody gets to use all their stars, and we take a lot of damage. This way we denied him 4 attacks, and now we can start attacking instead of waiting. It's a pretty big deal. He can maybe deny Labyrinth Tank a few attacks too. The Spider, kind of hard to deny stars. So you can just use 2 stars to AoE attack us. I'm going to focus on killing the tank over healing here, because he's the only one who can attack me. There's a chance that maybe he goes and crits the rabbit and kills, but I think that's really unlikely to happen. Because I don't know that... Okay, the chances are he's probably not going to go. Chances are he might not hit the rabbit. And then the chances are he's probably not going to crit. And then the chances are the crit probably doesn't kill. So it's like, if all those roll incorrectly, then the rabbit would die. And then we would just be done using him for the level, probably. You could put Monster Reborns on your team, but I find that I don't use them often enough to justify it. This team, maybe. I don't know if the 6th, 7th, and 8th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th red medicine are better than the Monster Reborn. It lets us fight, like, longer on average, but... You really wanna... Yeah, I don't really want a Rebby to steal all the fighting for this level. We should let my Moisture Creature team fight. So, Moisture Creature just seems to go first, like, super often, which is incredibly good for this magic user. He just paralyzes their whole team, and then there's, like, a pretty good chance that we just get to, like, kill them before they move a lot of the time, which is such a nice thing. The biggest part about it that's really, really nice is it saves so much time, because watching animations... There's no turning off animations in this game. But, like, watching the animations of all the units is pretty brutal. This guy is a heal, I think, because we looked at a lot of times in this game, enemy marshals will be just clones of each other, which is kind of lame when there's more than, like, 2 in a level, so you're just fighting the same team over and over again. But, yeah, the previous one had red medicines on that, so we had Queen of Autumn attack, and it was confused. Confused means that your only option on your turn is to just basic attack. So you can't, like, heal or special or wait or guard, which is pretty neat. So Parrot's still paralyzed, so we're gonna switch focus to the Kaiser Dragon. If we ever are worried about running out of damage, I think Queen will just kill from there. If we're ever worried about running out of damage on this team, we can just use the power, and then all our units get an extra star and a bunch of damage. But Queen of Autumn has enough base stars and damage that doesn't seem to need to very often, which is nice, because then we can dedicate a lot less slots to doing that. Whereas early in the game, you need more slots on that, generally. Okay, so now Dark Plant is getting pretty low. So before this player fights again, they should probably heal in case Moisture Creature goes like 3rd or 4th. He did get to act quite a few times. Sometimes the enemy will just not get to act at all against this team, which is kind of neat. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and red medicine here, because I think Queen of Autumn will go before Parrot goes again. And then we don't have to worry about healing out of combat. Unlucky. Okay, he attacked a different guy though, which is fine. Because as long as Plant isn't getting attacked, we're pretty safe on health. The other 2 are pretty tanky. Yeah, Queen of Autumn will get status guard eventually, which means she can't have any status problems on her, which is quite a good ability. Doesn't come up as often for the player, but it's still, it's just very nice. And then you can send her to the fights that they do status you if you want. Who didn't get to do any? Oh, my water team is stuck. If you have someone standing right outside your base, your unit, you can like send them somewhere, and then they just won't go because they can't get through that. I think our replacement for the plant is the middle guy on the enemy team here. We're trying to like pick a spirit from Joey. This guy's a spirit in Joey. He's kind of bad, and I think you get him at a really low level, but I've never used him, I don't think, so I might throw him in. Yeah. Blue medicines on the the Gazelle. So 2 of my teams have magic users, which means they get to do this fun magic spam. Magician of Faith says she does bonus damage to fiend types. Dark monster means fiend. Translation thing. Sometimes it says fiend, sometimes it says dark. So supposedly that does a little extra damage. Whereas Bickery Box auto crit spellcasters, but you don't fight very many spellcasters, unfortunately. Okay. That guy's heals, so we should finish him off. Yeah, she did, you know, like about 100 extra damage or something to the Neck Hunter. You'd think defense stat would do something like make you take less damage on regular hits, but it doesn't. It just affects your guard, so I don't care about a unit's defense stat basically at all. It makes them cost more to bring to the level, because it looks at their stats when determining how much a unit costs, but honestly gold doesn't really matter except for the first, like, maybe 10 stages or something of a campaign. Like the entire campaign, not I guess campaign's a bad word, of a playthrough. Matters for the first, like, 10 stages of a playthrough, because you really want to buy, like, the items you want early on, and then once you buy the items, like, you're good for the rest of the game. There's not like, oh, I'm gonna get this bad item and then upgrade to this better item. It's just kind of like you get the end game items immediately. Wow, 1 health. That's pretty rare in this game, considering they have like thousands of health, and the damage rolls are like, you know, when you attack, you'll do like somewhere between this amount and this amount of damage, and it just rolls in the range. My water team, they should go there. I guess Simon probably shouldn't fight anymore. Oh, we don't want to let him fight in the castle, so I guess we'll have Simon. Just didn't negate his adept, but Simon's kind of already a high level. Like, his guys are all like 60s. My other teams are a little lower leveled, so I should probably spread the love a bit. Okay, I think if we attack him twice and then wait for him to go, he might not red medicine. I think we only did once last time, so having a Rabby attack him instead of heal is probably bad. This might get him in range where he thinks he should red medicine. But we definitely don't want to hit him one more time, because then he'll for sure red medicine. Yeah, I think a Rabby should have healed themselves. Yeah. So we had the formula right from the last time we fought this guy. Botched it. So now Rabby will heal this round, and then one of the guys will hit the slot machine. And then we'll wait till his next action to try to finish him off. Yeah, this team I think is like the most average for teams for me in this game. Just like one healer, 2 damage dealers, not a lot for like special stuff. Okay, well he did just go. I'm gonna try to kill the tank because he guarded. The tank, or the slot machine guarded. Okay, now that we missed, I think we're just gonna pass. I think we had enough time to kill the tank before slot machine went again, which... This fight's being really awkward because we messed up the first move. Okay. We have to... The slot machine is red medicine, so if we get someone low and don't kill them and then slot machine goes, he'll heal them, and then we waste like 2 or 3 stars, and then we'll run out of stars and not be able to kill everybody. Because he's using 1 star to negate like 2 to 3 stars of stuff that we do. Okay, so now slot machine just went. We could just wait out his last star. It's probably safer to do that. Starting to really take it when it comes to damage. I think if they both attack and hit him, he'll die. Probably should just wait for his last star. Garizzi's can't miss because he has a silver bow and arrow. So warriors and spirit types get that. And then Dark Rabbit just has beast bearing, which doesn't have any additional effect. So being a beast type's a bit unfortunate in this game. I think we have enough stars to do what we want, so we're just gonna heal. We could just heal in the overworld out of combat, but I'm lazy. So if I have enough stars in combat, I'll probably just heal in combat. And now this guy's out of stars, so we can just clean him up. But as I was saying, how well you do in a battle, it's kind of determined by how many stars the enemy team has at the end of the battle that they didn't get to use. So as you can see, this battle went really poorly, because we only denied slot machine 1 use of 1 star, which means we take a lot more damage and have to use more heals. And the battle takes a lot longer because we have to watch the enemy's animation a ton. But our teams are, like, we have 4 strong teams, and each one of them could probably individually kill everyone in the level. so it's not like we're ever in super danger or anything. We could like be really dumb and lose a level if we let Yugi die for some reason, but it's pretty hard to lose at this point. It's just kind of playing out the teams and seeing how they go. Alright, Yugi, the only ally here is Dark Magician Girl. Ooh, swords. I do want those. Where's Fizdiz? So Fizdiz has discount. Where's a Ruby? Gonna go there. Fizdiz goes there. Yugi is gonna go there. But we don't want him to fight yet. I think if you beat the level too quick, Dark Magician Girl just doesn't join your team. Okay, so now we're gonna let our weakest team get a little bit of XP here. So if you look at the Field Adept team, this team's like that team, except weaker. Because I don't get to set up fights where they all get bonuses, and the units are also just weaker. They do a very similar thing. But might be very speedy in the overworld. So we have some time to goof around with. So I'm going to have Arabi and the Red Snake race. And if the Red Snake doesn't win the race, then I know he's kind of sucks. Because now he has Swift and Navy. So we're hoping that he'll be a very speedy boy, and that'll make up for all the other stuff. There is one level in Yugi's campaign where you have to be fast enough to catch Bakura or you lose the level. That level is very frustrating for people's first playthrough. The Taya level is also very frustrating for people's first playthrough because Taya gets surrounded and has her base units and you have to fight with her. Which I think is the level right before this that we did because I didn't want to start the next stream with it or I would have eventually not wanted to play. That level's pretty annoying. Not that bad now that I'm like older and know how to like get around it, but when you're a kid and you're playing the Taya level, it's miserable. And the Bakura level is rough. So there's only so many units that as like a center guy can be fast enough. I'm just gonna try to kill this guy. I think Gazelle has blue medicines or something, but he'll use one and then we'll kill him instead. Oh nice, we finished. I didn't know exactly how much damage I did. Okay, we have to wait for Gazelle to move here, I think. He guarded, and I don't want to try to break through the guard. Now that he moved, we can kill him, and then he won't spam blue medicines after being dead. Well, not a great miss there, but it's fine. I think he might still kill. I don't remember how much damage Sea Snake does. Yeah, not quite enough. So we waste a squid attack because our other dude missed. Can't tell if the squid hits ever. Doesn't seem to like knock them back at all. Usually you can like see it hitting them because the enemy will like get knocked back a little bit. Yeah, so gauge how well we did this fight. I told you guys the secret. How many stars they have unused by the end of the combat is my way of gauging how well the fight went. So we denied them 4 stars, which is not great. But better than our previous combat went. Usually we'll try to deny them like quite a bit more than 4. Now those two are at the level 59 threshold. They're going to be there for a really long time. Okay, so I want Red Sea Snake and Arabi to race. Okay, and then Fizdiz wants to buy Swords Revealing Light. And then Black Shield and Spellbinding Circle we'll just buy because we have a lot of money. But lowers the attack and action points of one enemy. I think there's one that costs 1 that does that, isn't there? Right, here's Dark Magician Girl, so we can end the level now if we want. There's really no point in getting her because I have no plans to use her, but... Okay, I want to see... Let's see which of these guys is faster. Okay, and then Yugi's gonna end the level when we get around to it. What are you doing, health-wise? Okay, I don't know if we even fight Scott. I think he just runs here. Okay, so Mako goes to Mai, and Shyman goes to Mai. Let's see. See how fast they are. Oh, he's catching, isn't he? Eh, no? They seem to be... Oh yeah, he caught up. You see, he's hitting this guy. It seems like Rabbi might be faster. It seems like Ravi's faster, which is not a good sign. The only way to look at player abilities that I know of is the screen right here. So it says moves quickly if all monsters are aquatic. It's supposed to do in the overworld we're faster. I don't think it does the hidden in combat speed. Oh no, you caught up? Okay, he is faster. Let's go. That's huge. I think. Yeah, I'm confused why we thought he was slower and then thought he was faster, but either way. There might be a fight here, or he might just run away now, but it's... Yep, he just runs away now, but... Kinda debate there. Glad we remember that, though. So we didn't miss the Dark Magician Girl, which is good. I was worried about starting the stream with that stage and then missing her. Not that it matters if we miss her. Okay, so next stage we can buy Metal Morphs. But I think, yeah, I already got Metal Morphs, so I don't need that. We might polymerizations, but I already have at least one, and we shouldn't need any of this campaign for this playthrough. Campaign would be like Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, and playthrough would be like combination of all. I gotta start using the term right there. Yeah, we're not gonna get like any new units or new equipment items for any of our teams like ever. Pretty much that's kind of just playing through it. And we already got a good taste of what our teams do. So what Scott does there is he yoinks these three, mind controls them, and then you spend the next bunch of levels like getting them back. So this level we probably like fight Taya and get her back. It's kind of fun. Nice to bring Fizz for discount, but we actually can't. So we have to bring these two. But it's nice to have your units on the guys that are like required for each stage. So like Yugi and Shaiman are required at every stage. So Mai's not a great bring because she doesn't have any abilities and she's not like required ever. And yeah, so usually you want to use your brings on like the discount guy and construction. Constructors are pretty nice. Taya's probably not gonna have to come to any more levels, but I want to give Tristan his Cyber Commander. I remember in one of the early Yu-Gi-Oh episodes, he says Cyber Commander is his favorite card, so this is just fitting. Yeah, there should be very little editing between stages at this point, so we pretty much have our units. And spreading out the units more would be kind of awkward, because any units at this point in the game that we're getting, we should just use on a Yugi first campaign playthrough, rather than a Kaiba first campaign. Kaiba first campaign playthrough. Okay, so we do have Wasteland Adept, but that's not really gonna matter. Tristan should get out. Make us some XP. Some Chime in there. We'll send Yugi there. These guys can hang out here. Mai. Go down there and fight that guy. Okay. Now it's just kind of like trying to let each of our guys like fight 2 opponents per stage, just to like even out XP a little bit. And then if somebody gets 2 behind, we can try to have them used a little more. The enemy has nothing. I think this guy waited or something. Camera angle's really weird. You should be able to just set a default camera angle that every fight starts at. Yeah, using this team is a bit miserable because it's so weak. I really am curious though, because our water units used to go like last every fight. So I'm curious to see if Navy makes it so in the actual fight they go a little quicker. Because again, like the looking up information on this game is really hard. There's a lot of like things that aren't explained in the game itself, and I can't find like answers to those questions very reliably. There just isn't a lot of info on this game out there that I can find, at least. A lot of games you can look up pretty much anything for, but this one's not explored enough to know the details on those mechanics readily, it seems. But yeah, a lot of times when I look up Navy, people will just say it does nothing, but I can't imagine people have like played with it much based on which I see out there for info and stuff. So what if Navy, maybe Navy doesn't even affect your overworld speed at all, or maybe it does a little bit. And maybe the big bonus is in combat, like your guys have a little higher hidden move speed, so they don't always go last. Because water monsters tend to seem really slow. Though a fair amount of them do get swift. Only 1 on our team, but I can think of at least 3 that get swift, probably like 4 or 5. Yeah, the problem is the water units just have bad stats. Swimmers. For the most part, none of the units are like very good. Fortress Whale would be one of the ones with good stats, but he it's an ability that makes him lose his water status. Okay, so Mai can hold the fort here. I think like lightning comes down and hits us or something, so let's hold the fort by doing that. I feel like I remember lightning hitting my units at some point in this stage. We'd like to avoid, but not enough to like look up. Alright, so I think for the Field Adept team, when we get this unit in Joey, we might switch him in. For fun. But then we'd have to do another Kaiba campaign to get the Lava Battle Guard, so maybe we won't. Yeah, Zenki gets Castle Adept, which is really nice. He doesn't start with it right away, but he's just a good unit. Like, he's good by himself, and then you can ritual him into Armored Zombie, who's busted. Hain's good, and Swamp Battle Guard I think is the good one. One of the Battle Guards has really bad stats, and one of them has good stats. I think Swamp Battle Guard's the one with really good stats. I could have the Dark Plant attack, but I think just Power of Naturing once per fight is good enough. And then I think the play is to just kill whoever's the lowest health. They're all paralyzed, so it's likely we'll get to deny a large amount of stars. But as we were talking about with how good Like a Fight goes, we've already denied him 4 stars. So this team does like a really good job at it, usually. There's some temptation to like poisoning a guy and then not touching him for a while. But we like win the fight fast enough that poison is mostly just like do an extra 100 damage to your attack. Probably not going to trigger more than like once or twice most times we apply it. Like right here we could hit this horseman and then let this guy die to 3 poison ticks, but then he's going to get 3 moves. We don't want to do that. Now horseman's still paralyzed, so we'll try to get him out of here. But he's a really good Field Adept unit. We used him last time on Yugi. We did the Battle Ox Mystic Horseman thing. And he turned out to be really good, and Battle Ox was pretty good, but you get him so late it's hard to notice. Anybody you get in Joey, like, you have access to so many units, and it's so late in the game that even if they would feel pretty good, having them like early, they just get them too late for it to be super relevant. But I think if you got Battle Ox like early in Kaiba campaign, I'd be pretty happy about using him. Okay, Mai got some stats, that's pretty good. Since these guys are pretty close to her color, I think it'll transfer to them getting those stats as well, potentially. Moisture Creature might actually get a star. Okay, so there's the boss. And these guys are all fighting enemies. I could just beat the boss in every level and like increase the speed of our playthrough like massively, but how I like to win a level is kill all the enemies once and take every town. That feels like beating the level to me. Level 1 magic. Wow. Status card on Giant Soldier at by level 44 is pretty sick. I kind of want to write that down if I haven't already. Giant Soldier Stone. You get him pretty early, don't you? There he is. Status card has at or before level 44. Okay, so last time I fought this guy and saw status card on him, I wrote this down. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's hard to like remember what I did previous runs, but that's pretty cool. Okay. So, and this guy's level 50 and doesn't have his status card yet. So Giant Soldier has that advantage. Well, his stars are not actually too bad. He's keeping up with her in stars. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, I think him over Dark Plant was a good plan, but that team seems strong enough with Dark Plant, and Dark Plant's a really fun meme. Okay, so he has status card, he has 5 stars, and he has the least health. Did they have items? Am I blind? Okay, I think I want to go for the Queen. This guy's pretty healthy, so I don't know if my water team even has the damage to kill everybody. We shall see. Yeah, the squid, he really troubles with me because he doesn't knock them back. Like, you see, I can tell that hit because she got knocked back. The squid just doesn't do that when he hits. So I always have to wonder if he hit until the end of the animation instead of finding out at the beginning of the animation. Yeah, this team is a bit low on stars and a bit low on damage and doesn't have like Power of Nature type items to boost their damage if they're running low for the fight. Doesn't have Polymerization in case it runs out of stars. Just kind of out of luck if it doesn't have the damage to kill everything. So it could use an extra like star or two on everybody, and then we'd feel a bit better about things. Like right here, we have to use a star to heal. I guess we don't have to, but it's getting low enough. I feel like we ought to. So as you can see, the team we just used denied like almost all the stars the enemy had. In this team, they're going to get to use almost all their stars. So fighting with this team is going to be a lot more rough. The fights are going to take way longer, and we're going to have to spam heals a lot each fight. There's something to be said for trying to get all the teams to be a similar power level. It's like, if we had, you know, 3 Harpy Lady team, and this team would feel like incredibly miserable. We're already like sort of approaching that with the teams that have magic and can paralyze everybody. They make this team feel kind of not so great. But the Field Adept team is close enough in power level. This team, it doesn't feel that awful in comparison to that one. That one's kind of a nice bridge in between. I think he guarded, so I probably should just wait because I might not have the damage to kill through his guard. I know that the Millennium Golem has pretty good defense as like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I think it's like a... Is it a 2000 1500? Or is it a 2200 2000? Can't remember. I feel like one of those two's right. But either way, it has pretty good defense. So we should just not let it guard. But like if a zombie guards and has no defense, then not as big of a deal. Yeah, if we miss, we might not have enough damage to finish it, which is not a good sign for a team at this point in the game. Okay, so we got a crit, so now we can miss one of these 2 attacks. Oh, that knocked him back, though. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Weird. Some units it does, some it doesn't. Who knows? I haven't used the Fiend Kraken much. I don't know what level he gets blind, but it's probably like level 80. But picking him might not be the best choice. Want to heal you out of combat. Yeah, this team definitely feels rough. I've tried to do a water team so many times to make it work. I was the most optimistic about this time, but maybe it's just fast. Look at it go. I was the most optimistic about this time because we had an actual plan that seemed pretty good with the whole like assemble the water team in the first campaign and then have Navy the next 2. A lot of times I would start with Yugi and then get the water team in Yugi at some point. And then you do Kaiba and the whole campaign you have no Navy guy and you're like, why am I using all these dumb water creatures? Right, so I'm just gonna go for him. He's got low health. We don't have to watch his animations. He doesn't do enough damage. We'll probably have the second Arabi attack kill. If I knew my my damage thresholds better, I would have just not had Arabi attack him. Now I could choose to kill him. I'll waste some damage here with the overkill, because I don't think the bug attacked yet. But there we denied him 5 stars, because he had less health and this team does a bit more damage. Still, it kind of has to eat a lot of hits. The guy in the middle does bonus damage to dragons, but it doesn't seem like he auto-crits dragons. It seems just like the bonus damage as in an extra little bit, which isn't too big of a deal. Sometimes when it says deals bonus damage, it means auto-crit, which is a very big deal, because that's double damage. So like Black Pendant, that's says bonus damage and auto-crits. I don't think he can break through the guard. We're gonna try. I think this will do 0. Zerabi doesn't have any power-ups. Yeah. I think this will break the guard, and we have plenty of extra stars, so I don't feel like waiting. If you hit someone who guards and do damage, then their guard is broken. Pretty sure that's how that works. So any of the guys that you have that have like damage boosting equipment items on, they can usually break a guard, and if you have enough stars that you're not like, you know, running low on stars by the end of the combat, then you can just try to attack through guard, but you can also just wait until they move. Like, instead of attacking you, they guarded, so you're not really, like, taking an extra hit by waiting. You're taking the hit that you would have taken if they didn't guard. But you have to wait a little bit, so you waste a little time. Yeah, the nice part about having, like, all the items and stuff that we want is we can do these levels a lot quicker. Just kind of plow through them. So Yugi only gets to fight one enemy here, which is fine. You fight him. Yeah, I think we get Dark Elf for beating Taya, but then we don't get any other units. In a few levels, there'll be like some wild water guys, but until then, there's kind of nothing going on. We already bought Call of the Grave. We already bought Gift of the Mystical Elf. Yeah, so the next like 3 levels, there's kind of nothing special to be looking for. We want to kill these guys. I could have used that guy instead of the Turtle Dragon in my water team, and I think that guy might be a little bit better, but the Turtle Dragon's cooler. I think this guy gets Swift. Kind of the reason to use him. I don't think it would have made much difference either way. They seem very similar. You only want 1 dragon per team. You can help it, because they can't have damage boosting items. You kind of want 2 of the people on your team to have damage boosting items. You could have 2 healers and 1 damage booster, but then you'd kill everybody slower and you'd need more healing. I mean, you'd have more healing, but then the fights would take longer. But that would be acceptable too. You could do one damage healer, 2 healers. But I want the fights to take less time. I think you'd be a little more suitable for the long run. I think the extra 3 slots of healing items would more than make up for the extra damage you take. But the key factor there is how long it would take. Less damage. Ooh, Rabi, up to 6 stars at level 65. Not bad, not bad. Dark Rabbit at level 69. He is almost to 70. We might ditch him for Swamp Battleguard. Actually, okay, so... he's really fast, so I'm worried that he'll run into the enemy. Yeah, and like your first playthroughs and stuff, you should explore all the like wild area and try to find the monsters if you don't want to look them up. But I've played this game so many times, I've already done all of that, and I just have them on my cheat sheets where they are. Cheat sheet notes. The fun of exploration is no longer a thing. Okay. We deal bonus damage to dark monsters, and these are both dark. But we really just want to kill the low health unit. That was my problem with him on my Heal Adept team. Ooh, he got it. Gazelle had pretty low HP, which was kind of an issue, and then before him it was like he'd hold items, but they weren't amazing. Yeah, as you can see, Lord of D doesn't go right away at the beginning of the fight, whereas Moisture Creature does. So that's a very, very big diff. He guarded twice. I think Victory Box can just kill before him at next hit. We kind of want to not let him fuse. Make Chimera, because then we have to kill Chimera. Sometimes it's quicker. If you haven't already done damage, they make one guy with like more health than the 2 individuals, but then you kill both of them if you kill the one. So sometimes it can be worth. I think she does 600. Oh, so close. Luckily, Lord of E can finish. That's kind of what the healer does a lot of times with their stars on my teams, is they just do the like little bit of chip damage to finish somebody off. But yeah, when you paralyze the enemies, the fights feel a lot easier. Magician of Faith is at that level 60 threshold, so she's going to spend a lot of time getting there, whereas the guy who just got 60 is going to get like a bunch of levels. Okay, so we get the old Time Wizard here. I feel like I don't have that in my notes. Research Guild. I should put that in my notes. Time Wizard. I think he like makes lightning strike twice or something weird. There's some fun mechanic in this level, but yeah, by this point in the game I'm far enough and fast enough to just beat it without caring about the mechanic. Okay. So yeah, Moisture Creature just like always goes first. I need to write that in my notes somewhere too. She has Night Adept. This unit's just sick. Good stars, good attack, decent health. Night Adept, and Diffusion. Then he has Castle Adept, so he's good, but you don't get him till Joey, so he's just not good enough. Anybody you get in Joey, you compare to like a way larger pool of units. But like if you got him early on in Kaiba, he'd be awesome. Yeah, in my notes on Moisture Creature, I should write that he like seems to go first very often. Because that makes him significantly better. I have like a running like ranking of units. I was thinking about doing a video with like tier lists units, but it's kind of probably more work than I want to do. I had to be very specific in like why I rate things what I do, because what metrics you're using influences everything. You just look at like how good the unit is in a vacuum, because then somebody you get like at the end of the Joey campaign could be rated a lot higher versus somebody you get like at the beginning of Yugi campaign who isn't as good, but like you have access to for 3 campaigns and is like a very solid unit. So like the ninja, for example, is like really good, but what makes him insanely good is that you get him right away in Yugi, like very early. And Yitsu. He's really fast as a center unit, he has Castle Adept, he has good damage, and he has like a lot of stars. But if you got him at the end of Joey campaign, he wouldn't be that good of a unit. You kind of gotta include availability somehow, which makes everything kind of mucky. Because if you could just go off of like stats, it'd be really easy to rank them. But then you gotta add the abilities in there too, and like how many stats is Water Adept worth? Well, I would say probably not much. But how many stats is Castle Adept worth? Well, like a star and 500 attack. Because most fights you're gonna get both of those out of it. This level you get Time Wizard and Dark Elf. So right now we have Baby Dragon and Time Wizard, which I think is the earliest fusion you get in the Yugi campaign, but we already did Kaiba, so we have access to a bunch more fusions. So that kind of baits you, because fusion's kind of bad. And both those units are kind of bad. Yeah, I think putting these units on Taya would make a lot more sense than on Mai, but we're already pretty into having them on Mai. Taya has that healing ability, and her stats are better. They're like spread out evenly, so she'll have like 9 of each of those 3 stats by max level. And Mai will have like 7 of each of those stats, and then 10 stars. And I don't think stars matter enough. I think health's my favorite stat actually of these. Because I run a lot of units like this one, that it's just worrisome if the opponent goes first 3 times and kills you. But yeah, I could cut one of the power natures, but I kind of like having 2 of them. I feel pretty good about that. And then I kind of like having 2 red medicine slots. I really like having 1 silver bone arrow on the plant, just so he can't miss. Moisture Creature natural abilities can't miss. Yeah, this is cool. All 3 of them have specials on their effect. You see it's yellow instead of white. So he can't miss, which the equipment would already do. She confuses on hit, which is amazing. Any machine type monster, you can put the shock shell on and it gives them that effect. But since she's a spirit, she also can't miss. So it's like can't miss and auto confuses. Force Adept I think is pretty bad. It comes up occasionally, but I don't think it's a great adept. But she does get status guard as well, which is pretty good. And then he poisons on hit, and tier 1 magic isn't really good. So yeah, lucky. Most of the units that get lucky seem to get it like by level 30. But they're like weak units, and he's actually a really, really good unit. So him having lucky is kind of neat. I think it makes you crit more and something else. Hard to actually know. But yeah, this can't miss, I think, is its effect, which is pretty normal effect, but it's always like good. But yeah, what I was going to point out is he has 3 stars now instead of 2. I think that's because Mai got a star, so now she has 5, and the color matches perfectly. So that's enough to give him a bonus star, which is a pretty big deal for him. He just doesn't have very many stars. And then it says 6, but she gets like +1 or 2 for being on Mai. Probably just 1. I think everybody's getting 1 for being on Mai. Yeah, I just want to do a bunch in that prep stage in between levels. That's like the fun part, is getting new things and adding them. But we're at the point in the playthrough where that's going to happen very rarely. Joey! I think there's cannons in this level. Need to make sure, yeah, Simon. Oh, nice, we got him out. Okay, so you don't have a lot of time to assess the situation here and act, but we're probably going to want this Water Adept team to go like, ooh, he gets Swift. I didn't remember that. Do I have that in my notes? I did not remember him getting Swift. Kraken. Oh, I don't even have it in my notes that he gets Swift. Dang. Swift, level 50. That's good. Makes him faster, but I still think he'd be a really slow center unit. But maybe I should test, because sometimes you're surprised by these things. Yeah, like, I really doubt he's faster than the Sea Snake. It's the center unit, but maybe we'll try it on these levels, just to see. That's nice. That'll make him go faster in combat, if nothing else. Okay, so they all have 5 stars. So you probably just attacked one of the lowest health. You could go for the one with the highest attack. Stu? Since he guarded, we'll just wait on him. So instead of guarding, he could have attacked me. So if we wait till he attacks again, we don't actually get hit like an extra time. And if we try to break through his guard, then we're like reducing our damage efficiency here. Like wasting an entire attack to break his guard. When instead of doing that, we could just get her down to kill range. Yeah, depending on how the cannons look. So the big draw about having swimming units is they're immune to both types of cannons. So some levels, mostly in the Yugi campaign, the enemy bases will have cannons. And then your guys get shot if they're weak against the cannons. You have to have some sort of way around that. A lot of times there'll be like a story-based way to destroy the cannons, but you don't really want to wait around for that usually. So one option is you can have like one of your weaker dudes get shot by it, and then your stronger dude can run through while it recharges. But the ideal option is to have a swimmer unit, or if it's ground cannons, have a flying unit. Or if it's flying cannons, have a ground unit. You almost always have some ground. That's the most common. With like walkers or something. Walking units. I think the flying ones are called aerial. Weird terminology to get straight. Yeah, this team, the Sea Snake and the Sea King, are not going to get any levels for quite a while. They're at that level 59 mark. Okay, wow, there's another group through. It'd be nice to have sent our units to like go places already, but I want to assess the situation. Okay, so yeah, Moisture Creature just like almost always seems to go first. Wow, he's up to 4 stars now. So good. Didn't we just check and we're proud of him for having 3? I don't remember. Anyway, he got a star. Probably from Mai though, not his own merit. Man, she does like 800 damage without a Force of Nature power-up. So good. He does 270. Poor guy. But he does like an extra 100 from the poison. It's not as bad as it seems. Blech. I should have attacked the middle guy with him, I think, because Queen doesn't do 850. Thing is, I want the poison to be on a guy that I'm going to kill last, because it'll have the most chances to proc. But now we waste a bunch of damage from Moisture Creature. Yeah, he actually doesn't do that much. If I don't use the Power of Nature, yeah, my 2 supportive units don't do quite as much. Yeah, he does 300, but then he does another 150 every time it's supposed to be their turn. And if they're paralyzed and poisoned, you get to see like when they skip a turn, because it'll tell you the damage. And it'll proc. But normally when they're paralyzed, you don't know if they skipped a turn or not. A lot of games like this, I feel like, have like a sidebar that shows who's going next turn order-wise. This game just doesn't have that. Like that's a feature they just didn't have time for, but I'm cool with it. I think it's kind of fun to not know. Okay, so enemy bases, oh my gosh, they all have cannons pretty much. You want to get in here and take that cannon. You want to run down there. You want to get in here, take that cannon. Didn't heal you out of combat, which I should have done. But it looks like our water team's going to get some usage here. I think they're a bit under leveled anyway, so it'd be nice to use them more. I just drag my feet on using them because the fights are miserable in comparison for the other teams. I'm surprised my Sea King Dragon doesn't have super stamina yet. But I think I have in the notes about the level you would get it, so I just don't remember what they say. I thought he got it like by level 60, so maybe he gets it at level 60, which again is drastically worse than getting it at level 59. Because the amount of time it takes to get from 59 to 60 is like 15 levels worth of XP. This guy's team seems pretty weak. We can just try to plow through and then heal after out of combat. We denied him 4 stars already, which is nice. This team doesn't seem to usually deny that many stars. A lot harder when they have healing items, though. Sure. This team's really bad at dealing with those. Whereas, like, the Queen of Autumn Leaves team is, they don't care if the enemy team has healing items. Down to 700. Judgeman seems like he'd be an okay unit, but you get him in the level where you get like 1,000 units in Kaiba, like the dragon level. And the only team he really has synergy with is the Field Adept team, and that's kind of oversaturated, and then he has like no stars. And the Field Adept team doesn't really support that well. But if he was like a Night Adept unit or a Spirit unit, he would be pretty good, because he has that high health, that high attack. Having low stars, not great availability, and being nothing like too special or unique about him, just makes him not someone I use very often. It would have been kind of fun to throw him in as a Field Adept unit, but I wanted a Garuzi's game. I think I could have cut Garuzi's for him though. If I knew how Garuzi's would feel, I think I would have cut Garuzi's for Judgeman. Because Garuzi's doesn't feel as good as I was hoping. So, Judgeman I wouldn't expect as high. Garuzi's is feeling like I expected from Judgeman. So I might as well have used Judgeman in that case. Yeah, the Swift on the Fiend Kraken's a nice little bonus there. You have cannons. Mako. Oh. I want to heal Mako out of combat before I send people places because I don't want to forget. But I should send people places first. Okay. Yugi can go there. I can go there. Simon can go there. Mako can go. All of these have cannons. I'm closest to that one now, so I think we'll go that one. I think we'll send Tristan to go get blasted by those cannons so someone other than the water team can take that base. The nice part of bringing jobber units. Red shirts. Polymerization, ooh. I like how the enemy teams show you a lot of stuff in this game. Yeah, Field Adept's nice. Okay, so they have way too much health to target. Maybe I wait till they fuse and then kill a Rapid Horseman. And just work on this guy in the meantime. There's going to be a significant amount of damage though. That's going to be tricky. I guess the best thing to do is to hurt them enough so that they don't fuse, and then wait till they move, and then finish them off before they move again. I don't think they'll check if their partner's low, but if they're low, they'll probably fuse. So I probably can get him down to about half. And then I gotta wait till he moves, and try to one-round him. But one more hit might be too much. They might fuse after that. Do I have enough stars to kill Rapid Horseman? Probably. I'm gonna risk it, and it'd be fun to see Rapid Horseman. I don't think he's amazing if I remember right, but that might be low enough where he... Yeah, that's low enough if he fuse. Okay. Alright, but then we get to see Rapid Horseman. If we don't kill him... Oh wait, he's weaker than either of them. Wait, he has less health than either of them. We fused into a weaker monster. He has the same adepts as Mystic Horseman. Yeah, he's even worse than I remembered. Oh, fusions in this game are such a meme. He probably has super stamina at some point. I think Battle Ox gets featured super stamina, so fusion probably has it. But yeah, he has less health than either of them did. We almost kill him in one cycle of attacks with this team, which is seems pretty low damage output. Hypersonic Axe Blade. We got a couple more Castle Stake, and then we gotta go meet Joey. And you get Panther Warrior, who's the awesome Field Adept unit. The reason to do a Field Adept team. So send Miko to that place. We send Tristan to that place. We heal Mako. Really don't want to be using in combat for heals on this team. Okay, Rex is doing his thing. Oh no, somebody got shot by cannons. Who did we get too close? Wait, who got shot? Alright, Kaiba comes and helps you out with the cannons if you get shot by them. Who messed up and got shot? Was it Yugi? I wanted to avoid this scene. But he'll come and blow up the cannons for you, and then... Most of the levels with cannons have some story-based thing you can do. Who got shot, though? Oh, interesting. This place had cannons. Okay. There was no one occupying it, so I thought it was safe to just go there, but I guess it wasn't. That's awkward. Now, I'm not feeling like we're getting away with something. Alright, so we actually do want them to fuse, because they lose 400 health. The problem is we have to hurt them a bunch to get them to fuse, so we don't actually make out ahead on it. I don't think my Kraken does 700 damage on a hit, so I think I have to soften him up. And we might as well have the Kraken finish him off. It's unfortunate he went before me. Swift did nothing. Okay. He's actually taking it. Next time Turtle goes, he should heal him. We get unlucky with turn order. He might die before he gets healed, especially with a miss here. That's not great. I guess that doesn't affect that, but it's okay great either way. If Sea Snake dies, we might have to abandon having this unit kill him. Okay, the weight is nice, because a crit would have definitely killed, and a base attack probably would not have. Yeah, we don't do damage fast enough to not get, like, blasted with damage. It's kind of a problem. So, yeah, we're just gonna not worry about them fusing. If they want to fuse, they can.